Hello, my lovely Sagittarius. This is your horoscope for 2025. 2025 is set to be a shifting year when everything is in a preparatory stage for the next 7 to 10 years. Yes, that is the correct information. 7 to 10 years. Now, 2025 will be sort of a glimpse of what's to come in 2026 and onwards. Meaning 2025 will have a lot of shifts like all the planets, in general, upcoming year is very rare to happen, and we are living in such a historic moment. We should be really happy about it because what's the chance when all the planets change signs, especially considering that those karmic and slow moving planets that take from 7 to 15, 20 years to change sign, they're all at the same time changing it in the same year. Plus all the personal planets like Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury, those that we feel directly, that's why they are called personal, like through our daily lives, they are retrograding, meaning slowing down. Sort of they all gonna retrograde, overlapping each other's retrograde, like slow motion period. And we will have first 4 months of 2025 very slow start, it's not good to start anything around January, February, March, and April. Until mid of April, all personal planets will retrograde one by one after another. Now, 2025 will also show through these slow moving planets glimpses of what's to come in 2026, because this, Uranus, Pluto, no, not Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, they all gonna also retrograde, meaning crawl back into the place, the zodiac sign they've been for the last, I don't know, 3 to 10, 14 years, affecting those zodiac signs, and then they will come back in 2026 to the new home. But 2025, they will show what's to come because they will briefly enter those new sort of homes, setting up for themselves. Now, let's begin with your 2025 horoscope. And Happy New Year, my dear Sagittarius. I cannot believe how 2024 passed so fast, but welcome to your new year. Now, for you as a Jupiter ruled sign, the most lucky planet of abundance, happiness, prosperity, and faith and belief, Jupiter will be important in 2025 because, of course, it will change sign. Now, first half year from until June 9, so first 6 months of 2025, Jupiter will be still transiting your seventh house, the most, sweet place to have Jupiter, because seventh house is house of marriage, house of, not necessarily like you getting married, but most of you guys, yes, you might get proposed, you will be proposing, and in general, taking up your relationship to the next level, like moving in together, or, from boyfriend to girlfriend, to a more serious state of like getting engaged, being a fiance, and all these things. You might think in general and start considering getting everything to a more serious and responsible level. This is seventh house. Now, for some of you guys, it's also about business partnerships, because seventh house is not only marriage house, it's only house, marriage with our business, like with those who we sign contract. Those people, like your employee, as an example, even if you work a simple job, like 9 to 5 to someone in a big corporation, that's also your seventh house because you signed a contract to work for those companies, right? So that those relationships are exactly governed in your seventh house. And if you're a business owner, then that's your business partners or shareholders, whomever you have a paper to sign, my dear Sag. Now, Jupiter will transit all these 6 months, that part of your chart, meaning giving all the abundance, all the luck. If you've been looking for a shareholder or an investor, like to become your business partner or open with someone your new, business idea, or pursue something professionally, and in love-wise, as I said, like marriage, then you will have perfect candidate. Amazing one. Jupiter will send you one, and most likely that someone will be speaking different language than yours, or if not language, then they might be coming from a different cultural background. I don't know. They might have a totally different um, upbringing situation, for example. Now, after June, Jupiter will move into your eighth house. Now, financials will be important for you, and it seems like check back and recall what was happening in 2013, like 12 years ago, Jupiter went into your eighth house, the same position. So 2013, what was going on in your life? And those things might sort of happen, repeat themselves, but nothing is exactly same in our life. That's why it's more about similar topics might happen in your life. Like in eighth house, for example, 12 years ago, back in 2013, you got a bank loan to buy a house, as an example, or to buy a car. And now after 12 years, you're managing to close that and you're finishing paying off that debt and you're happy, as an example. Or like 12 years ago, you got married and you got a like family budget, because eighth house is money that comes to you from other sources like banks or husband or wife with whom you share. It's not the money that you earn, it's the money that comes into your pocket from someone else or some other institutions, banks, governments, so it might be that like back in 2030, like you got married and like you since then you've been dealing with the family budget. And now if you, let's say, got divorced, or this is as an example, my dear Sag, then after July 2025 seems like that family budget is non-existent anymore. As a similar topic, it might come and hit you. Or like if you've been studying back like 12 years ago back, and you got a scholarship, and now like you decided to get another degree, or just like some short-term like courses, a year master's degree, for example, and you got a scholarship again. You've applied and you're gonna get it, because Jupiter is a giver. He gives everything, like all the gifts and positivity. And plus, Jupiter is exalted in your eighth house, meaning Jupiter works there for 1,000, times better than in any other part of your chart, because that's Jupiter's exaltation place. When planets are exalted, they work to the fullest, even to maximum, even more. Now also, eighth house is not about money, it's also about conception, because the eighth house in general rules all these things that we cannot explain. It's the mystical part of our chart too. You see how with money it's interrelated. Now, conception or fertility journey. If you've been wishing to have a baby, my dear Sag, now after July, that will be your year. That's an amazing period. Actually, you might find out that you're pregnant, or you might succeed in your in vitro, as an example, or you might adopt, as an example. Everything related to fertility, related to getting pregnant, all these things become fortunate to you, my dear Sag. Now, as I said, eighth house is mystical house. It also governs all things related to astrology, numerology, and also like psychology, like therapies. For example, you might take up a therapy after July. Like if you've been going through some tough time, considering that Saturn was transiting your fourth house, like family house, then you might decide that you need a professional help, like mental, to get to get to go to some therapies or whatever is that. Actually, it can be psychological, it can be like even to going to astrologer or numerologer, or someone who is actually in your opinion, who might help you with your inner state, like with your within, sort of within you, the situation. Now, eighth house is also, if you're, for example, a student, again, as I said, it can be scholarship. If you are like divorced, for example, back in 2013, you got divorced and you got an alimony, right? From your ex-husband or from ex-wife, or for your children or for yourself. And now after 12 years, that might stop because you grew up, like your kid grew up, as an example, now, and it might stop coming in, for example, or something there will be changing with that alimony, in general. Now, let's talk about eclipses. Eclipses are rocket ships. Like, every year we have eclipses, and they bring life-changing, once in a lifetime big events that we usually remember for a lifetime. And I call them rocket ships because they usually bring us to the point where, like, suddenly, usually they happen so sudden, like situations and events and people, that we are not happy with that situation. As people, we don't like really so much change, but they might strike so suddenly that they might shake you up, actually. And they bring the point of eclipses to bring you out of your comfort zone, so push you to better life, let's say, and to be better self as well. That's the point of eclipses. So you should remember only this thing. Now, And from the get-go of 2025, January 29, we have this eclipses shifting signs. And eclipses happen because of lunar nodes. Now, lunar nodes, they are two, and they are always situated opposite to each other. First one north node, second one south node. And they are on 29th of January shifting signs. So they are simultaneously affecting two signs at a time. Now, North Node will go into your 4th house and South Node will go into your 10th house. This 4th and 10th, this between these two houses, there is a line, in the sky in your chart. And this line is called angular houses, and it's a sensitive one. It's this axis is very sensitive, one of the main important axis, these lines. 4th house is all about your family, all about your real estate, also where you live, the situation, like an apartment, I don't know, the place where you live, and also families that you build and you come from. Now, 10th house is all about your social status, your career, your reputation, and also in general, what's the place in a bigger society that you play. For example, as an unemployed or employed, or maybe you're CEO, or maybe you're just a I don't know, assistant, or you are married or not, or are you divorced? This kind of, those titles that we put, social titles. What kind of title is that belongs to you? Now, these things will be shifting. Now, nodes, they change every a year and a half, roughly speaking. So they spend a year and a half in a pair of sign. And you might recall back to 18 years ago, because they take 18 years to get back to the same point they have been before. Now, 18 years ago, if you're that age, you might recall back to 2007 and 2008, what was going on in your life. And again, nothing is exactly same gonna happen, but similar topics might come back. Like, for example, I can tell you my story. When these lunar nodes, they were in my 4th house and 10th house, and these eclipses happened because of them in these houses, I got like whole new life that time, because it's, as I said, it's very angular, it's very sensitive point to have eclipses. And I went to study, my life totally changed. I went to study abroad, and I ended up living there actually for 4 years. I changed sort of country, and you see how this 4th house, like where you live, is affected. In my case, it was hugely affected, and I went sort of to a totally different culture, different language. I started learning that language, living there, and also I got a boyfriend for the first time, like for a long time, boyfriend, and it happens because of my 10th house too. 10th house is social status. I've been single before, but now I changed to as being a girlfriend. This is this kind of titles that we get, let's say, within the society. So these things changed hugely for me, and my life went to a totally different direction. And exactly this might happen to you too, because it's a, as I said, very sensitive point, which is amazing, because you will get refreshed. You will have a totally new life. And you as a Sag, I'm more than sure you are prepared and you love changes and all the time actions. Now, since July 2023, for the past a year and a half, they've spent these eclipses were falling in your 5th house and 11th house. Now, 5th house and 11th house is all about children, and it's all about love and what you want for your future. Seems like, because it was in your North Node was in your 5th house, a lot of you guys might have found someone special, start dating like in the last a year and a half period, let's say, or you've started seeing someone, and but at the same time your wishes and future plans were changing greatly, because South Node was there, and South Node is about loss, it's about past, it's about something that we need to release. And seems like your wishes kept changing all the time, and you were releasing a lot of plans that you had before, or at the same time doing like countless time while these eclipses were happening there for the past a year and a half, since July 2023. So some of you guys, I don't know, because you got fall in love and your plans change, or because you fall in love and then you moved with that person to some other place and your society changed, because 11th house, where this South Node is located, is about your friendship circle, is about your society, who you are surrounded with. Seems like for the past year and a half, your friendship circle was changing and even completely got erased, let's say, like changed to a totally different some other new people now surrounding you, as an example. For some of you guys, it might have been a kid. Fifth house is about children, if you got a kid like in the past a year and a half, again, your friendship circle might have changed. Or because like, you start staying home with your kid, taking care for your kid, and all the things. This kind of thing might have happened. Now, fifth house is about business too. Those of you who opened a business in the last a year and a half, um, you probably changed a lot. Like you worked a lot around there, and even utilizing social media, like online, internet. But with internet, it might have been a bit harder because South Node is there. Sort of business could have been which is not online that you opened, something which is related like as a service, but not utilizing social media. But it's hardly imaginable actually what that could be nowadays. But anyhow, it's possibility there. So you got me. Fifth house, 11th house is all about your plans or children or business, whatever is your case. So those eclipses were changing your life greatly for the past a year and a half. Now they will be in your 4th and 10th house. And as I said, here you might move somewhere, for example, because 4th house is where we live. You might relocate yourself totally. Or some of you guys might buy a house or sell a house, as an example. And like property, not necessarily house, like any property, like apartment, whatever is that. 4th house is also family. A lot of you guys gonna get married or vice versa, get divorced. It depends on your situation and on your chart, my dear Sag. You know, and these eclipses, they come, and if they say that that relationship doesn't serve you good anymore, is not serving you good, like in your better future, better self, then that relationship will get canceled, like erased from your life. And no need to be sad around that. Try to be on the positive side, because eclipses, they push us towards better self and better life, as I said before. Now, also 10th house is about career. A lot of you guys might change your job as well, might and mostly probably you might decrease sort of working hours, or your reputation might go downside, or for whatever reason, maybe you're busy with your family. It might be you are like your kids are getting born, as an example, and you getting a paternity leave or maternity leave, and you sort of falling out from your career area, professional area, as an example. Or there could be some story with your father, because 10th house is people who we respect and obey. It can be your father's life changing greatly there, and you need to take part also, and it affects you directly and mostly strongly. I mean, now 10th house is also house of social status, as I said. This is because it's a sensitive angle. A lot of you guys might, let's say, finalize your divorce and become a single, or vice versa. Finalize your marriage and become a married person, as an example. Now, all these things will happen while eclipses will fall. Now, let me tell you, we'll have 4 eclipses in 2025, and they are all perfect except for the one, which is last one, but at that time we will have help. Now, let me tell you from the beginning. March 14th, we have lunar eclipse in your 10th house. Amazing, sudden surprise there, positive surprise, but which comes with huge responsibility. Now, 10th house is all about career for you guys there. You might attain a, I don't know, higher position or a new job offer, which will be all of a sudden. You won't expect it. It's not like you will be waiting for it. It will be out of blue, my dear Sag, because Uranus, planet of surprises, will be active there. This might thing happen, but that position or that job offer will come with lots of sort of working hours, hard work. You will need to put their hard work if you're going to take up that job or position, and also with responsibility, like big responsibility. And you will also have influence, like huge influence over your, I don't know, employees, or in general in the company. Now, 10th house is also social status house, and here again, there might be popping up some proposal, like, or getting married to everyone's shock, as an example. Or 10th house might be, indicating that if you get pregnant, and also very surprising way, it again comes with responsibility, right? Children is our responsibility. So you might have this kind of news. If you've been wishing, then this is your time, and universe might deliver this. If you've been not, then take good care before even March happens. Now, March 29, we have second solar eclipse in your 5th house, which will be amazing one. Now, 5th house is all about children, is all about kids. And again, you see, whole March seems like for you, my dear Sag, will be very important. You can even give birth around this time, even at the first eclipse too, like becoming parent. If you are like a father, then you might become a parent around this time, and your social status change, right? Now you are a parent also, or you might find out that you're pregnant. Simply, March will be something surrounding this kids topic too. For some of you guys, it might be about business. And around 20 March 29, the solar eclipse, you might open your business, or you might expand your business. You might get a, I don't know, lucrative client, as an example. Some very valuable client or something amazing happening around your business, getting expanded, or opening second office somewhere else, as an example. Fifth house is also house of love. Those of you who are single, you will have a stellar chance to meet someone special, my dear Sag, around end of March. This will be your period to go mingle jingle. Don't sit home. This eclipse has power to deliver you sugar sweet someone, that romantic love, falling in love, because fifth house is all about romance, is all about flirting and true love. Now, and if you are like in an art area, like if you are actress or singer or dancer, your talent might be showcased. You might be discovered. Let's say, like you might have some sort of I don't know, performance or exhibition, depending on what you do, and you might get recognized around this solar eclipse. And this solar eclipse has the power to make you popular through your talents. Now, third one, lunar eclipse, we have 7th of September in your fourth house. Fourth house is, this eclipse is very powerful, super powerful. And September by far will be the best month of 2025, because Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, all of them, they will be at 1 degree in their sign. Now, this is extremely rare to have. Again, like I'm telling you, we're living in such a crucial moment of the history, and plus, astrologically speaking, very rarest moment, because these three planets, they take from 7 to 20 years to change sign. And just think what is the possibility to have them all at 1 degrees while they are changing signs. It's crazy. Now, this eclipse will be super powerful because those trio, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, will be supporting that lunar eclipse in your fourth house. A lot of you guys might I don't know, be happy, like maybe celebrate your family, as an example, or some sort of celebration might happen there. Or fourth house is also a house of buying real estate, maybe apartment, maybe a house, or some sort of as an investment, wherever is that. If you've been targeting, then this September lunar eclipse will deliver that wish. Seems like you will buy another real estate. Or also for selling is great. You might sell, or if something related to real estate like bank loan, you might close the bank loan, you will be happy, as an example. The fourth house is also a place where we live, and that's why it's about citizenship. Those of you who've been wishing, you might relocate somewhere, like you might move countries. It's not about city, but it's about country. Could be that you might move somewhere and call that place new home, as an example, or might move like states, let's say, at least. And also, it's a fourth house about mother. This lunar eclipse has power to deliver something related to your mother. But it's positive news, so that you remember, if her health wasn't well, then this eclipse will deliver that everything is amazing. Or she might tell you some great news, like, for example, she's getting married or she's pregnant, so expect your sibling, as an example. Or something happening in her life in general, huge, like life-turning event, which will be directly affecting you. Now, September 21st, we have a last solar eclipse in your 10th house of career. Now, this one will be a bit bumpy because Saturn and Neptune will oppose that. But those trio that I said, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus, they will be influential whole like September and even further. And they will help you at this solar eclipse. No worries on that. If something will be going on around your career, something which is stressful or with a lot of responsibilities or a lot of work, or it might be some client which is like who is very demanding and at the same time responsible and harsh and a bit oppressing, plus also who someone, let's say, doesn't know what he really wants, because Neptune is there. It's a bit planet of confusions. And could be sort of misunderstandings here around your career, at your like job, for example, or with your boss. or with your father, you might have this disagreement, sort of, as an example. And anyhow, this Pluto and Neptune and Uranus, they will have a help, and they will sort of try to mild the effects of this solar eclipse. Now, let's talk about slow moving planets. As I said, all of them going to change sign, and it will affect you and us, masses of people, like greatly, because those slow moving karmic planets, they usually affect us more on the subconscious level, our spiritual growth, and plus masses of people. Now, 7th of July, we have Uranus moving into your 7th house. Now, this is amazing news for you, because, and Uranus will stay there until November 8th, and then it goes retrograde, meaning moves back into where it was for the last 7 years, because Uranus takes 7 years to change sign. So in one sign, it stays 7 years, my dear Sag, transforming that part of your life. Now, and it will be back in April 2026. So from July until November, you will have a preview, sort of hints from Uranus of what's to come in your house of true love, house of committed love, actually. It's a house of marriage, house of partnerships, and all other people, like relationship with other people with whom we have contractual agreements, as an example. Now, Uranus is a being planet of surprises and shocking situations. Next 7 years, you might actually, get married not even once. It won't be surprising if you get married twice or 3 times or even 10 times. That's how Uranus work. It's sort of a shocking and time to time, sort of a like roller coaster planet. And Uranus, as I said, it spent 7 years. Now, in your 7th house, it's about love. And Uranus is someone foreigner as well, someone who is very not similar like anyone else, like who stand out from society. This kind of sort of partners you might be attracting into your life, someone special, and or someone who is good at technologies, because Uranus is all about technologies too. Now, the same goes to your relationship with in business, like at work, for example. It might be that you will work in some kind of place which is very diverse and very not unlike any other place. Sort of this kind of topics might go. And also business partners, you might attract eccentric, this kind of people, as your business partners too. Now, for the last 7 years, so that you get the feeling of what I'm talking about, for the last 7 years, it was transiting your 6th house, now house of work, my dear Sag. And since 2018 and 2019, it was in your house of work. And since then, you might have changed quite a lot of different types of work, not even like same area, like professional area. You might have had very diverse experience from different professional backgrounds, as Uranus was for the last 7 years there. And also, it's about health. And time to time, Uranus was shocking as well in terms of your health and well-being. It might have quite like gains of weight all of a sudden, and all of a sudden drops of weight as well. Like you might have been losing weight and gaining weight, and on and off all the time, like this sort of, because Uranus is, as I said, it's a sort of a roller coaster planet. Now, March 30th, we have Neptune going into your 5th house. Now, you see, these your love houses are getting activated. Let me tell you, until next 14 years. Because, Neptune and Saturn, they will go into your true love house, and Uranus is going into your committed love house. You see? Now, March 30 until October 22nd, Neptune will be showing you of what's to come in the next 14 years, because Neptune takes 14 years to spend in one sign. So it changes sign every 14 years. Now, it will be back to your 5th house in January 2026. It will retrograde back where it was after October 22nd for the last 14 years. And it was in your 4th house, house of home, since 2011 and 2012. So for the last 14 years, your home area could have been sugar sweet, sort of, because, and through rose pink glasses, kind of, because Neptune, gives us this tendency to romanticize and to to see everyone from the good side, or to see everyone as someone else, but not the true selves, So when Neptune moves out of your 4th house, you might finally open your eyes around March, end of March, until October 22nd, and you might see the true light of the situation within your family, actually. And you might actually think back to 14 years, what was going on all those 14 years. Now, the same way is about real estate. If you've been like, let's say 2011 and 12, you bought a apartment or a house where you lived for the past 14 years, and you've been happy and all the stuff. But when Neptune goes out, you might actually think that you want something different or something more or something else, and you might start seeing all the problems about your living situation or where you live. There could be sort of eye-opening experiences. Now, Neptune goes into your true love house. And again, true love is all about romance, falling in love and dating. And Neptune will give you here all sorts of romantic occasions and situations. It's amazing to have Neptune here because it's, romantic place of your chart, and Neptune is so mild here. It might give you this soft touch to, whoever encounters you, actually. You might be as a sort of a bunny to everyone around you, and plus you might exhibit this kind of qualities of Neptune, very mild, very soft and romantic, sort of out of the world sort of qualities. Now, fifth house is also house of business. Some of you guys might start a business around the end of March related to, all things, I don't know, sea, because Neptune rules, sea world, or maybe viruses, or maybe medicine also. These areas could be lucrative for you. Fifth house is also house of children. You might start thinking, and plus, like, how to say, enjoying your newly found love for children if you have them, or if you don't, then you might start craving to have kids because Neptune might give you this sort of period from March until October 22nd, and of course when it will be back in January 2022 until next 14 years. Now, May 25th, Saturn changes a sign into your fifth house too. Following Neptune, it will also give you preview until September 1st. Now, take note what will be going on in your life because Saturn also will retrograde back, sort of crawl back to where it was for the last 3 years, and then we'll be back again into your fifth house, newly home, February 14, 2026. Now, to stay until 2028. Saturn has more shorter period of staying, like 2 to 3 years in one sign, but Saturn is a planet which is known as a strict teacher of our universe. It has tendencies to give harsh lessons if you haven't been a good girl or a good boy, as an example, because it's a teacher and it checks back what you've been doing for your last years in around that area of your life. Now, Saturn will move into your fifth house together, of course, with Neptune. So here, first 3 years, while Saturn will be together with Neptune in your fifth house, it will be balancing that sort of rose-colored glasses to your dating life or to your love situation or to whom you start dating, because fifth house is all about that. If that's your situation, it seems like it will actually give you more clear picture, more sort of real perspective on everything what's going on in your love life and also in your business and about with whom you do that business, like business partners. And the same with children. You might sort of be two at the same time, and nice and sweet as Neptune, and strict sometimes with your kids if you have them. But if you don't have them, this first 3 years, Saturn seems like will a bit of a limit access, and you might start trying actually to non-traditional ways of getting kids, because whatever Saturn touch, it makes it smaller, limited. Or to some of you guys, Saturn might make a gift of being a parent, like putting a responsibility through your kids. And even Saturn, when it's here, you might get pregnant, and it's a huge responsibility that Saturn will put on your shoulders. Now, to get again perspective about this Saturn, think back to 2023. Since 2023, it was in your fourth house. Now, fourth house is all about family. I know myself from my friends who are Sag, it's not been easy. And for some of you guys, Saturn in the fourth house might have given a lot of trials and situations, harsh situations with your parents, for example, with your father, or with your mother, and also in general within family that you build yourself, like with your husband, wife. You might have divorced, you might have vice versa got married also since July, since 2023, because Saturn is responsibility, and in fourth house it gives responsibility, and you might give in the birth as well as a responsibility. Saturn in fourth house also limiting. Like if you got a lot of you guys might have bought actually an apartment, a real estate. That's again heavy responsibility, and so it sort of felt like a burden. And it'd have been like, but when Saturn moves out from your fourth house, it will be much easier, my dear Sag. And fourth house, it's more like angular house to you, and it's very sensitive one. That's where we feel the burden sort of things. And a lot of you guys might have sold, let's say, apartment, or couldn't buy real estate, because Saturn, again, it limits access to whatever it touches. And anyhow, Saturn rules your second house of income. And here, and money and family were stressing topics for you, sort of, for the last 3 years, while Saturn was in your fourth house since 2023, as I said. Sort of maybe because of your job, maybe your family wasn't happy with what you do in life, how you earn money, as an example, or shortage sort of money there is within the family. It doesn't necessarily mean that you had sort of shortage, but within family, or maybe your family didn't want to sort of help you with something. Now Pluto in your third house, it's also changed recently signs last year in 2024, and it went into your third house for the next 20 years. Can you imagine that long? Now Pluto will be affecting those of you who have planets or placements from 0 to 3 degrees of Aquarius, my dear Sag, or in your sign too, meaning those of you who are right like beginning of Sagittarius. This will, like 2025, Pluto will be influential only for those guys who has these degrees, placements, planets, and third house is all about communication. Pluto here might give you a lot of contacts who will be like a high, I don't know, level, like CEO people, or someone who has money. Like this kind of people might surround you, or you might work in this kind of setting that you have to deal with this kind of people, not necessarily like it's your money, but there could be a case that it is your money. For example, earning through social media, third house, like whatever you speak, for example, podcast, or if you use like language, speaking, writing, all these areas will be lucrative for you guys, because big money will lie there. Seems like, because Pluto is about big money and also about influence. Seems like whatever you're gonna say will have a big influence and importance to other people. Now, let's talk about personal planets that will all retrograde. As I said, Venus will retrograde this year. Now, Venus retrogrades every a year and a half, roughly speaking, and this year, 2025, Venus retrogrades from March 2nd until April 13th. Now, when Venus retrogrades, it's never good to get married, it's never good to get plastic surgeries, and to sign some money papers, meaning like which is related to good money, earning money. Now, Venus is planet of love. That's why try to avoid these days of Venus retrograde, of any marriage. Like try to postpone it, because it's a love planet. Everything can go wrong, and it's a beauty planet. Same plastic surgeries. Try to avoid from 2nd of March until April 13th. You will be on the safe side. You might not like the result of that plastic surgery. Now, we all love when Venus is in our sign, because we feel ourselves shining like a star. And we also have a magical skill to convince anyone into anything when Venus is in our sign, transiting. Now, write down those periods. Venus in your sign, my dear Sag, will be from November 30th until December 24th. This will be your time to shine, to be attractive. Everyone is attracted to us. This is pretty much your birthday period, my dear Sag. Now, we also love Venus in 7th house. Now, 7th house is a house of marriage. And for you guys, it will be from July 4th until July 31st, marriage season, sort of. Now, a lot of you guys might get married around this period, from July 4th or July 31st, or get proposed. Or you might also, this will be time when you will enjoy the most love, like for your one and only. This is only about those who have like strong and long-term relationships or married relationships. You might enjoy your marriage life too here. A lot of you guys get married also. This is not the ones who are like start dating, but the ones who are committed. Or you might take your relationship to a committed one. Now, Mars will have unusual behavior in 2025 because it will retrograde. And you know what? It will focus only on two areas of your life. Seems like universe through Mars telling you to deal with those two areas of your life until June 2025. Now, it all started back in September 2024, so almost a year. Seems like Mars trying to make you deal with all the things which are related to those two areas of your life. Now, from 6th of January until April 18th, it will be your 8th house, house of money. Anything related to bank loans, taxes, also anything related to investments here. You might like Mars will be quite active and seems like you will be investing, or you might be dealing with bank loans, let's say applying or getting or closing or changing plan. I don't know, something taxation, same tax return. You might be applying or dealing with those tax authorities. Mars, it's an action planet. You will have quite a lot of things to deal with. Also, it's alimony if you're in divorce process, or a scholarship. You might start applying to some scholarship if you're in education and if you're in need of one, like financial help. Any sort of financial activities, you will be busy. Like if you're a business owner, you might start actually looking for business partners who will be willing to invest into your business. You might start being quite active in searching and attracting investments into your business, as an example. Or 8th house is also house of conception. Now here, from January until April, seems like it's about fertility and conception. You might be quite active in trying in vitro if you've been trying, let's say, to have a kid. Or if you're already pregnant, it might be C-section because Mars rules everything sharp, like knives and surgical knives. And here it might give you this sort of a period when you're giving birth, but it won't be like, it will be through C-section, as an example. Also, 8th house is about mental state. It's about psychology, and from January until April, seems like some of you guys might get a lot like interested into this astrology thing, psychology, mental state, or you might be actively going to therapies or asking someone for help, like psychological help. Or anyone like astrologer, for example, like those mystical subjects, you might get quite interested. Now, from April until June, Mars will be targeting your 9th house. Now, this is happy place because Mars will be in direct motion here, and 9th house is all about travel. And it seems like from April until June, nobody will stop you. You might travel the world, and you might start planning, or you might already travel, to some far places, somewhere very far. And those of you who are studying, you might start studying here, or you might get like preparing papers for university a lot. Like it gives a lot of activities around your education, whatever it's related to, which like whatever part of this education is related. Now, 9th house is also legal affairs. Those of you who are in lawsuit or who has legal cases in process, you will get pretty busy. Or if you work in this area, then it might get quite busy with a lot of assignments when Mars will be in your 9th house. And in general, if you've been waiting for long, like some resolution, some papers or something around your case, this will be time when you hear back some news. 9th house is also a house of, as I said, travel and immigration. Some of you guys might start preparing documents or applying to visas around this time from April until June while Mars will be there. And also 9th house is about publishing, like books. Those of you who are researchers, writers, you will get busy around your masterpiece that you're creating, that you're writing, trying to publish, or there will be a lot of back and forth communication with your editors, publishing house, or just looking for like editors and publishing places. Anyhow, like you will get quite busy there. Now, 9th house is also about second marriage. Those of you who've been wishing to get married second time, this will be your busy period from April until June while Mars will be there. It's amazing place to have Mars. Now, I would like to also add some couple of days, which will be interesting in 2025. Now, February 23rd, we have Neptune uniting forces with North Node in your fourth house. Magical aspect, because this is very rare aspect. And again, astrology never fails to surprise how rare events we are experiencing, astrologically speaking. And this period is amazing. Rare, very rare aspect, which last time happened in 16th centuries. Can you believe me? That's how long it happened ago. And Neptune again can be like uniting forces with your destiny node in your fourth house, exactly the same place on 23rd of February. Now, this day is said to be special. Something is cooking up within your family, which will be very, positive, something magical. You might hear some news, like positive news, I don't know, from your siblings, from your parents, or from your mother specifically, fourth house. And those of you who've been wishing to relocate somewhere, move to some other countries, this will be your period as well. Neptune might give you some news here once in a lifetime. Now, it's also about real estate. You might find a perfect fit. Like if you've been searching to purchase something, then this Neptune might give you sort of one or two examples, like of houses. You might see houses, go to see apartments, and you might find the perfect fit for whatever you desire. Now, April 14th, Saturn will conjunct North Node in the same fourth house. And again, this is very rare event, which happened last time in 1877, 150 years ago. Now, Saturn connecting with your destiny node, it's a bit of sobering experience because Saturn is a strict teacher and it usually opens mind, opens our eyes. And here, around middle of April, you might realize something within your family, or you might start building, let's say, your house, because Saturn is a planet of construction. And fourth house is about real estate. You might start building or fixing something. It doesn't matter whether it's apartment or house, whatever is that. It might be also, repairing something, I don't know, or buying to also, or just like looking at the things within your house and also within your family with eyes open, with no color glasses, let's say there, because Neptune will be gone by that time. Now, Saturn with your destiny node might also give you sort of in your fourth house, it might be about your father. You might have sort of serious talk there, whatever is the reason. And if you've been planning to move somewhere, now April 14th seems like won't be that easy because Saturn is limiting that. It might be sort of more paperwork required there. And for some of you, if you will be moving, then it will be a lifetime experience there, giving so much responsibility. And the last one, September 4th, we have Jupiter conjunct your North Node in your fourth house. Not conjunct, sorry, they are trining each other now, meaning they are making perfect aspect between each other. Now, Jupiter is your ruler, planet of abundance, your guardian angel, it's a planet of luck and planet of gifts and prosperity, happiness. Amazing aspect between your destiny and your ruler. In your fourth house, again, in September, by autumn, seems like of 2025, everything will settle down in terms of your family, whatever there was like quite a lot of activities in your family, within your family, the family that you build, or the family that you come from also. And those of you who've been, again, trying to change citizenship, like moving somewhere or going abroad for whatever reason, like for work or because you got married or because you wanted to, like you bought an apartment or just wanted to change a country, whatever is the reason, this September 4th aspect seems like will make you smile, my dear Sag. This is amazing opportunity here. And also it's about in terms of your real estate too. You will be happy with your purchase, seems like, if you do so around September 4th. Or if you've been planning whole year and dealing with paperwork, all these things will be finalized by September 4th, my dear Sag. Now, don't forget to check your rising sign, because usually rising sign is the strongest affecting in the horoscope. Now, for some of you, it's a sun sign and a moon sign, depending on which time you're born, which place you're born. Now, anyhow, check all three and you get to compare which one is affecting you the most. Now, wish you the best year and Happy New Year, my dear Sag. Love you all. Bye-bye.